Hellsing has lots of insane characters, but to put these characters in perspective, we need some more normal ones to level out the scales. And one character that does this fantastically is Sir Penwood, or for short just Sir Penwood. He is, well, the viewer. A normal person that is clearly in a situation way out of his league. But let's look at his story, and his story told by Integra, which is a little different. He has his first appearance in the manga relatively early on, when Integra, who just survived the fight for the position of chairman of the Hellsing organization, sets him straight. He asks Walter if this kid is really the new boss of the Hellsing organization, to which Walter cannot even answer, because Integra directly points out his disrespectful conduct and clearly outmaneuvers the way older man, who is quick to apologize. She also makes it clear that just like her father, she'll be relying on the mostly financial support of Sir Penwood, to which he begrudgingly agrees. On the one hand, he's not having it that a child is now in charge of one of the most powerful shadow organizations in the Kingdom of Britain. But he also knows what they are doing and clearly sees that this is no ordinary girl. But this gives us a good overview of who we are dealing with. A timid, kinda chunky middle-aged man. And this perspective doesn't really change in his second appearance, when the Valentine brothers attack the Hellsing Manor and close off all possible escape routes. Well, imagine your position. You're sitting in a government building and a terrorist attack happens. Well, you're gonna lose your shit, and that's what Penwood does, until he's scolded by Lord Islands, who has a way calmer demeanor. Penwood, thinking he's surely gonna die, then gets hit by a vent cover, and then this scene happens. That's kinda different in the manga, but shows that he has at least a soft spot as a landing point. Then some stuff happens and we see him putting a good amount of silver and lead into young Valentine, who gives us this phenomenal line.
Oh, fuck me.
Well, Hellsing Abridged is funny, but Hellsing Ultimate alone is already funny as hell. But here you can see, if needed, he can at least defend himself, although he looks visibly more in distress than his peers. But who are they actually? The group is called the Round Table. They are basically a group out of military, business and politics that kinda run the country behind the scenes. And they are directly under the command of the Queen. We can see them again when Alucard returns from Brazil, where a visibly shocked Penwood hears the news of the identity of the attackers. And why is Penwood even there? Well, pretty simple reason. He actually is the Vice Admiral of the British Marine, giving him one of the highest positions in the British military. We see him actually on his job after Rip van Winkle puts the Eagle under her control. And he is, as usually, pretty stressed out. And gets even more stressed out when his attack force is immediately shot down. Integra then explains that this most likely is the work of vampires, and asks to take over the operation, to which Penwood, under a lot of protest from his underlings, agrees. Whatever there is on the Eagle, he is neither ready nor prepared. As we know, Alucard made quick work out of the issue, but now is stranded on a ship. And this is when the attack on London begins. The first thing that is happening is that Millennium cuts off all the communication lines. This completely breaks the chain of command, since no one can contact each other, causing even more chaos than there already is. Penwood doesn't want to believe what's happening, but Integra clearly states that the war has begun. And soon after that, the commander bridge is stormed by traitors turned vampires. Penwood wants answers, but clearly isn't respected by the enemy. Thank God Walter was there. In hindsight, maybe not. Integra then drops another epic line.
Frogs parading in front of a viper. Of course it's funny.
And Walter takes out the trash, giving Penwood a little face paint. Integra then states that she was sure Penwood was a traitor too, to which he declares, I might be a coward, but I'm not a traitor. The next steps are clear. The commander bridge is a strategic goal by the enemy and will be overrun soon, so everyone should evacuate or they will all die. But Penwood has other plans. He declares that he knows that he is weak and a coward, and only got his positions because of his birth and not because of his abilities, but that this is a duty that he has to fulfill, just like Integra has a duty that only she can fulfill. If there is any chance communication comes back up, he needs to take it to restore order and continue the fight. Integra, clearly impressed, then leaves him a gun against the vampires and wishes him good luck. He'll need it. He knows he's on a death mission, so he orders the rest of the crew to leave. No one but him has to shoulder this burden. But instead of following orders, they just laugh at him. They are clearly aware that he is neither capable nor strong. He can't even operate the terminal, but he is truly loyal and a good person that inspires them to keep up the fight. Maybe it's good to know that there's someone more afraid in the room that you can relate to and that inspires you to not give up the fight. He has to accept the situation and thanks his crew, because they all know the war is on. The next time we see Penwood is when at least some of the radio communication is back up and the citizens of Britain receive a message from Sir Penwood. To whoever this message reaches, keep fighting, do your duty. In the manga, he's with another person that rather not chooses to become a ghoul and rather ends it on their own terms. The building then gets flooded by Millennium, who after a lot of fighting think that they finally won, to which Penwood can only laugh. The dialogue and the anime is truly amazing, giving me major Hunter x Hunter vibes. The next line truly captures the British sass you would expect. Pathetic, am I?
This coming from an undead maggot. Course it's bloody funny.
Farewell,
Integra Hellsing. It was an honor and a privilege.
The clearly shocked enemy commands him to stop, but to that you can only say, I do not
take orders from swine like you.
He then detonates the trap, killing an entire battalion on his own. This act clearly raised morale around the country. If the war had been lost, they would have nuked the whole country. But not as long as people are fighting. And we all know how the war actually ended. 30 years after the war, we see an Age Integra fencing with a much younger opponent, Penwood's grandson, who was curious if Integra also sparred with his grandfather because he heard conflicting stories about him. Integra then told him the story about Shelby and Penwood, who tore through the Nazis like they were paper with guns and swords and then strapped explosive to him and blew up an entire Zeppelin just on his own. Truly a man amongst men. She affirms this twice, being pretty insistent, and then pressures him into giving her a new helicopter. Some things never change. But one thing is true. He was a coward and incapable, but loyal to the bone, and knew what had to be done in times of trouble. I think this kinda makes him stand out as a character in Hellsing, to which maybe some people can relate to. But what do you think? I clearly loved him in Abridged, but he was great everywhere. And if you like this video and want to support the channel, you should like and subscribe. But you should also check out Manga Guardian. I don't have many mangas, but the ones I have I'll gladly display with Manga Guardian. They offer storage solutions and presentation solutions for your bookshelf. And with my code Sleepy15, you get 15% off your whole order. So check out Manga Guardian. So thanks Manga Guardian for sponsoring the video, and thank you for tuning in. See you in the next one. Bye.